Hello there, my friend. Thank you for joining me today, and let me first say how much I appreciate your being here, especially if you've been through ups and downs in these golden years of life. Today, I'd love to talk about something that can touch us deeply and sometimes leave us feeling lost: the heartbreak of losing someone you love, especially a spouse or partner who was your trusted companion for so many years. We often feel like a large piece of us is missing, as though our identity, once interwoven with another's, must be stitched back together all over again. I want to share with you a personal story of loss and discovery, one that speaks to the power of hope and resilience, even after 70 years of life. I'm going to share 7 lessons I learned in my own journey, lessons that shaped my path to healing. If you find these stories and insights resonate with you, let me know in the comments. Write something like "Comment to our healing hearts" if you're ready to open your heart and grow. And if you want more discussions like this, don't forget to like and subscribe, because we're all part of this supportive community where we help each other find our footing and purpose even after heartbreaking challenges. Let me begin. Many years ago, I was what I'd call perfectly content with the life I had built with my spouse. We were well into our later years, but we still found joy in small daily rituals: our morning cup of coffee, a stroll in the garden, or an occasional movie night with old westerns. But eventually, time crept up, and I found myself facing an unthinkable loss. In the wake of that painful goodbye, I felt a strange emptiness each morning as I woke up to a half-filled bed and a heart weighed down by grief. The first lesson I stumbled upon might seem obvious, but living it out is a challenge: to allow myself to feel. For some of us in our senior years, we believe we should be strong, or we assume we're supposed to face adversity with a stoic calm. We tell ourselves we've lived long enough to handle anything. But ignoring sorrow is like gluing a broken vase back together without checking if pieces are missing. I realized that feeling the sorrow did not mean I was weak. It was the first step in acknowledging what I had lost. We, of a certain age, are no strangers to hardship, but heartbreak is its own special kind of challenge. Let the tears come, let the questions arise, and allow the memories to flow. When each memory flashed before my eyes, be it our wedding vows, our shared joke, or a quiet Sunday reading the newspaper, I tried not to push it away. That was where I really started to heal. Second, I learned how important it is to keep talking about our loved one. I used to worry that mentioning my spouse's name too often would make other people uncomfortable, or that it might keep me trapped in sadness. But what I discovered was that by speaking their name, by telling amusing anecdotes from our younger days, I could keep the flame of our shared story alive. It didn't trap me. It helped me process. Without that safe space to talk, I'd have felt more alone in my grief. Friends, neighbors, even a local grief support group. Anyone who would lend an ear, I'd tell them about the hobbies my spouse loved, or the little quirks about them that drove me crazy, yet endeared me even more. When I was able to share these stories, I found that people would open up about their own losses, creating a circle of mutual comfort. Third, and this was a big realization for me, it became crucial to rediscover my own identity. For decades, I'd been part of a couple. Our schedules, our finances, our daily rhythms were together. But once I lost my spouse, I wasn't just grappling with the loss of them, I was grappling with the shift in who I was as a solo person. I remember wandering the aisles of the grocery store, uncertain how to shop for just one, or planning my day and realizing I had certain tasks that used to be my partner's domain. Slowly but surely, I discovered new routines and new hobbies. I'd sit on the back porch in the evening with a journal, exploring thoughts I'd never bothered to write down before. I resurrected a love of painting that had been buried for years beneath the demands of family life. As I stepped back into my own identity, both old and brand new parts of me came to the surface. It might sound strange to say, but for those of us in our 70s or beyond, growth and discovery might be the best tonic for heartbreak. Fourth, I found that forging fresh connections or strengthening existing ones with other people did wonders for my healing. At first, I felt guilty even thinking about meeting new people or spending time with friends, as if that meant I was forgetting my partner. But over time, I realized that social connection doesn't minimize the love I still hold for my spouse. Rather, forming new bonds brightened corners of my life that had become dull and shadowy in grief's aftermath. Maybe you have grandchildren, or a niece or nephew you haven't spoken with lately, or maybe you have a neighbor who sits on the porch every evening. Reaching out doesn't have to be complex. I started accepting coffee invitations from neighbors, joined a local senior center's yoga class, which was hilarious at first but turned out to be quite beneficial, and even volunteered at a local community garden. Each new face I encountered or deepened bond I formed helped me realize I was still connected to life. The fifth realization is one that might surprise some of you. Letting go of the timetable for healing. There's a subtle pressure in our world to move on, to be done with mourning, especially if some time has passed. People might cheerfully say, "Aren't you feeling a bit more like yourself now?" Or, "You must be doing better, right?" It's well intended, but it can create the sense that we have to rush our grieving and personal growth. The truth is, there is no set schedule for heartbreak. Even years later, you might run across a photograph that stings, or you might pass by a favorite restaurant that triggers waves of emotion. That's okay. Grant yourself permission to move at the pace your soul needs. Healing is a process of 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and that is perfectly normal. The 6th lesson was to honor my spouse's memory in my daily life without letting it overshadow my own present journey. I do small acts of remembrance. Place a fresh flower on the windowsill because they loved flowers, or listen to a favorite song on Sunday afternoon. But I'd also set goals for myself that belong solely to me, so that my life wasn't just a shrine to the past, but also a place where new possibilities and joys could grow. I realized that living fully wasn't betraying my spouse's memory. It was a testament to the love and life we shared, and goodness, I catch myself sometimes smiling, looking up at the sky as though they were there, encouraging me to keep going, to keep exploring, to keep living. Finally, the 7th lesson, learning to dream again. It sounds rather grand, doesn't it? But I believe wholeheartedly, no matter our age, that we all need dreams and aspirations. When you lose someone, it's easy to tell yourself that the future you pictured is gone, so there's no point in dreaming about what might come next. Yet, the opposite is true. Maybe your new dream is to plan a heritage trip, to visit the birthplace of your ancestors, or to paint a mural in your community center, or maybe to simply start a gardening club with some neighbors. Whatever form it takes, let yourself imagine possibilities and embrace them. Even if your body feels a little achy or your heart is still tender, this is your life to shape. I started by writing a list of small goals: read a new novel every month, learn to make bread from scratch, reach out to an old friend from childhood. Each time I tackled something on that list, I felt a sense of accomplishment and a subtle stirring of hope. Dreams don't have to be huge or complicated. They just have to be yours. There's something about the act of dreaming that gives your soul permission to move forward, to carry love and memories of the past into a future that you continue to create for yourself. Those are the 7 lessons I learned through losing my spouse. Feeling your grief fully, keeping their memories alive by talking about them, rediscovering your own sense of self, opening yourself to new and existing social connections, letting go of deadlines for healing, honoring your loved one in a balanced way, and setting new dreams for your life. I'll recap them briefly. First, tenderness for yourself as you mourn. Second, keep your spouse present by sharing stories and laughter. Third, claim your identity outside of who you were as part of a couple. Fourth, open up to new relationships even when grief tries to isolate you. Fifth, release the expectation that there's a fixed timeline for feeling better. Sixth, honor your partner's memory, but don't let it eclipse your present joys. And seventh, never stop dreaming and planning for what's ahead. If you resonate with what I've shared, I'd love to hear your perspective. Post a comment with Dar's Healing Hearts and share a cherished memory or a new dream you've discovered. And if this story spoke to you, I invite you to hit that like button, consider subscribing, and join this wonderful community of caring people who understand that life continues to unfold, surprises never stop coming, and love can find us in unexpected ways. Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope these lessons remind you that you're not alone on this path. Even after major heartbreak, there is a richness to life still waiting to be found. Let us hold dear the ones we've lost, but also open our hearts to the present moment and its possibilities. And with that, I'll bring this chat to a close and wish you peace, strength, and the openness to dream about the days ahead. Thank you again, dear friend, for listening. Take care, and remember to let hope guide you forward.